Moana 2 is a sequel that I honestly didn't think I'd be talking about at any point. Originally, this was slated to apparently be a Disney Plus series, and that's how it was being planned out. And then early on in the year, they decided we gotta merge this into a movie and we're gonna be putting it out in theaters. And there was a surprise teaser trailer drop that got a lot of people's attention. And so now this week, the movie will be out in theaters. Here we follow Moana 3 years after the events of the first movie, as she is called back to the ocean by her ancestors, this time to find an island that seems to be lost for many generations, and many have tried to find it but have failed. And so it's a very perilous journey that she is going to undertake, and she's not doing it alone. She is doing it with some companions who are also on her island, who will hopefully help her out, as well as Maui once again, the shape-shifting demigod that she knows from the first movie, and hopefully they're able to succeed in finding this island. The first Moana is one of my favorite Disney animated movies of the past decade. I think they did an excellent job with crafting that world, those characters, the music surrounding it, and it was one of my favorite movies of 2016 as well. Like, I really had a wonderful time with that movie. And so there were some expectations going into Moana 2 about how the story could continue, what else could Moana discover along the way. And so I got to see the movie yesterday, and having seen it, I think it's a very entertaining watch. I think there are a lot of fun things going on over here, a lot of stuff that carry forwards from the first movie in terms of how it's, supposed to be done, and I think they once again excel in those departments. But I also think it's not as good as the first movie. I think it does have some issues, and some of them are pretty glaring issues, but overall but I don't think it's as good as the first movie. I think that is still far superior to this one. But I also think I seem to have misled a few people on social media because I said something similar and some people thought I meant it was a bad movie. Absolutely not the case. I think it's a very entertaining movie. Just not as good as the first one. Where Moana 2 succeeds once again is with the animation. This is a dazzling movie. There are some gorgeous sequences with some very vibrant colors that are spread out throughout those moments. And once again, the animators have done an excellent job of bringing all of that to life. Whether it comes to Moana's island, representing Polynesian culture, doing an excellent job with that, giving a voice to indigenous peoples in that area of the world. There was something wonderful about that in the first movie, and I think the second movie doubles down on all of it. And once again, it's excellent work from everyone involved. Where the movie does excel as well is in the characterization. Moana and Maui are once again really well realized. I think Auli'i and Dwayne Johnson have a great back and forth from the first movie that once again is in this movie. There's some great conversational moments with them and some funny humor in the process, and both of them do a really good job. There's some supporting characters, like I said, tagging along on this journey from Moana's island, and they're also very entertaining characters. Each one of them has a trait that defines how they are on this journey, and some of it does again lead to some very funny moments. She also has her animal companions like Hey and Pua this time, and both of them are also very funny. However, I would say the standout supporting character is Simia, her little sister who is on the island. This is one of those cases where Disney has that one character who is extremely cute and small and appears in a movie, and immediately you go, you got me. Like, every single time you've got me. And once again, when she appears on screen, it's an incredibly cute character, so you can't help but find her extremely adorable. The movie brings back characters from the first movie as well as others that she encountered in that first movie's journey, like the Kakamora, those coconut people. They're fantastic once again. There's a very fun sequence involving them, and then one of the Kakamora soldiers, lieutenants of sorts, gets involved in this journey as well, and he's super funny. Like, they did a very good job with those little moments of humor. There's a lot of earnestness and love that's gone into making Moana 2. Where I think, however, the movie does have some unevenness is when it comes to setting things up, especially. Like, the first act, I would say, is very choppy. There's a lot that they're trying to juggle around, and it can feel extremely messy. In fact, there's a little bit of a whiplash effect when it comes to the first about 25-30 minutes. You're kind of putting it all together as to how the story needs to go, and it feels a little abrasively edited, and I don't think I'm a big fan of that. But once they actually get on the voyage, once they're actually trying to find the island, it gets a lot better, and then eventually it leads to a third act that I was really invested in, and a very strong conclusion on some of that. But I do think the journey to that is also marred with some issues. For example, the villainous presences, for example, like Matangi, I didn't really feel like they did much with her. There's not much of a presence to her, actually. She appears as this disrupting point to the journey and someone who is trying to, make things difficult for Moana and Maui, but it doesn't really go much past a certain point. And so I don't feel like she has that much of a memorable, villainous presence by the time it's over. And the same thing goes for Nalo, the god who is creating this storm around the island and keeping it hidden. There's, again, not much over there in terms of a presence, and I wish they did a better job with some of that. Where I think the movie is also a bit disappointing is with some of the music. I don't think this is a bad soundtrack by any means, but it's sort of in the same lane as I would say Frozen 2 was to the first Frozen movie, where the songs were good and there were some really good moments in there that, musically that were highlights. And this movie also has that, but the first movie soundtrack is definitely the more superior work and one that continues to play. I can imagine that a lot of parents, kids, families who are watching this right now, like, you can talk about how Moana songs have played on the radio or on car rides over and over and over again. It's one of the most rewatched movies on Disney Plus, I believe. And so when you think about that, I don't know if songs like whatever is in Frozen, Moana 2 are going to be on the same level as How Far I'll Go or You're Welcome or We Know the Way or Shiny like the first movie has. But I could be wrong about it. Who knows? Maybe there are going to be those things with Moana 2 as well. Though I don't think it's as musically strong overall as the first movie. That being said, overall, by the end of Moana 2, I thought it was a solid time. I think there are a lot of, again, entertaining things to it. I don't think it's as good as the first movie, though. I think it could have been a lot stronger. But it does have a very, like I said, strong conclusion, and it does hint at the idea of potentially a longer journey, which could be interesting, mostly because I love the character of Moana, and I like Maui as well quite a bit, so I think whatever both of them are up to next, I'll definitely show up to see it. I'm gonna give Moana 2 a 7 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon, and as always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies. There we go.